We're here to talk about childhood in poetry, not other people's poetry in our poetry. And I'm going to introduce three wonderful West Sussex poets. We've got Pratibha Castle, Ted Gouda, and Claudia Court. And we're each going to read some poems to you about our experience of childhood, or parts of it that we've chosen to write about. And I'm going to start. And the first poem I'm going to read to you is about where I was brought up, sort of about where I was brought up. I lived in Fareham when I was quite small, and in those days Fareham had water meadows. All gone. The water meadows. Cross a grey highway, open clanging metal gate, swim through gold ocean, climb on wooden stile, intrepid footsteps, daisy petals, tail dung, squat by green water, tiddlers swarming over stones, nets scooping in shallows, shaded shallows, toad under twiggy elbow, dragon in a dream, a yellow meadow, creatures hidden in dark stream, the curiosity of cows. And perhaps some of you will remember how tall buttercups were when you were 8. So that's almost my first memory of where I lived when I was young. But my father was in the Navy, and we moved twice to Scotland, once to Malta. And so another memory is of walking home in dark Scotland. Scotland was very dark to me. On walking home from school in winter, the trees are singing wildly, thrashing their branches in the muddy sky. It's 5 o'clock. Night is falling. Families who are gathered round TV screens for tea would see only darkness in their windows. Out here, it's dim twilight. This avenue of flailing aspens flickers out a code where I read of dangers that adults don't suspect. A ragged fox slips slantwise along the hedge. I stride on, singing, "Onward, Christian soldiers." The dusk devils who watch and wait may not be fooled by my bluff. I must admit they never caught me, those dusk devils. But again, it's a childhood memory. I've dreamt it as well. And then off we went to Malta. And we went by troop ship. This is a story. This is a kind of prose poem. It's called To Algiers, 1953. After all the packing and the awful itching of the chicken pox we came out with the week before we embarked, and the doctor said, "Just go, keep covered, keep it quiet." The troop ship to Malta was a holiday we'd never had before. It was warmer every day, and the spots were healing. I played quoits on deck with bigger children, while my little sisters and were playing with toddlers in the nursery. The soldiers were on other decks, and I only noticed them at Algiers. 2 days out, a storm had swept us past Gibraltar. I'd hoped to pet the apes. That night, salami was served. I reached at sight of the pink and white meat, imagining worms laterally sliced and pressed and sliced again. At last the sea and our stomachs calmed, and we anchored off Algiers, a troubled city. Gladly we stepped out onto the quaking, rolling quay below the gold-grey, creamy bastions of the city. Only our protective soldier told us of the civil war. We entered the babbling, wailing, glittering, black-dusted, pushing crowds of the souk. I was envious of my little sister, perched on our soldiers' shoulders. I never forgot the next 3 hours before we went back to the order and routine of the voyage. Crow tears flesh in sun. Traders crouch in shadowed souk. Brown children staring. And I'll continue when I find it. I was a solitary child. I lost myself in a book very easily, and generally did. And I was in love. This is called Longing to be Joan. And so to my blue chair with wings, to hold me safe and blinkered from the world, I sink against the worn brocade, grasping my beloved, who lives between cheap red pasteboard covers and grins above his rumpled collar. From line drawings on thick pages, I'm in love all right. Crikey, says Ginger. Oh, Marky nearly caught us that time. And they're calling, searching for me, but I'm far away in Middle England between 2 world wars. Violet Elizabeth is about to scream and scream and scream till she's sick. And William is proving again that he's the charismatic leader of the gang, master problem solver, adventurer, fundraiser, and the only boy who can make me laugh aloud. And that's how they find me. Crumbs, says William. Girls, he says. And I'm delightfully, unreasonably, hopelessly in love. Now, childhood, I have had experience of being a mother, but these poems are mainly about being a child. And when you've been a child, of course, you dream about your mother, and your relationships can get a little bit mixed up in dreams. So this is called Fly, Love, Fly. In the dream, you are my daughter, not my mother. I lead you on a narrow path above the sea. At my shoulder, a sheer cliff. Below, a deep ravine. You are not afraid. You laugh, run ahead. I give chase, catch your hand, try to lead you to a safer place. Your hand shape-shifts, becomes fish, flipper, slips. You fall slowly into air. In the dream you are my daughter, not my mother, which is why I call out to you from the path. Spread your arms out, love, and fly. And finally, some advice from my mother. Stirring the porridge, I think of Miss Rymer's grave. She's past her century if she's not in it. I wish I'd written this, she wrote on my homework. Keep stirring, don't stop, my mother always warned. Some advice, some praise stays with you. Keep stirring, or life goes lumpy and sticks. Thank you.